For 2 years, I watched my gold digger wife cheat with a girl half her age while planning to steal my construction empire. When she demanded everything in the divorce, my equipment fleet, my contracts, my life's work, I said yes immediately. She thought I'd lost my mind, until the first equipment payment came due. My name is Garrett Brennan. I'm 57 years old. And 3 weeks ago, my wife asked for a divorce over breakfast in our kitchen overlooking downtown Cleveland. Not during some tearful midnight confession, not after a fight, just a casual announcement between her Greek yogurt and my scrambled eggs, delivered with the same tone she'd used to discuss weekend plans. I remember watching the sunrise paint the steel mills orange while she spoke. The light caught her platinum blonde hair styled in that expensive way that cost $400 every 2 weeks. She wore a cream silk blouse that probably ran $2,000. Everything about Caroline was polished, perfect, calculated. I want a divorce, Garrett. 5 words that ended 18 years of marriage. I didn't look at her immediately. I kept my eyes on the skyline, on the city I'd helped rebuild with my construction company. 47 commercial projects, 23 equipment yards, 12 mixed-use developments that changed Cleveland's landscape. Buildings with my company's name on them. Monuments to 30 years of blue-collar work that suddenly felt meaningless. Did you hear me? Caroline's voice was steady, rehearsed. She'd practiced this moment. I turned to face her. My cheating wife of 18 years sat there with perfect posture, her blue eyes clear and determined. No tears, no hesitation. This wasn't a woman asking for a divorce. This was a gold digger announcing a business decision. I heard you, I said quietly. She set down her coffee cup with deliberate precision. I've already retained Russell Sterling. He's the best divorce attorney in the state. Of course she had. Caroline never did anything without preparation, without stacking every advantage in her favor first. Sterling had a reputation for bleeding wealthy husbands dry in divorce court. Sterling, I repeated, you've thought this through. I have. She folded her hands on the table. I want this to be civilized, Garrett. We're adults. We can handle this maturely. Maturely? The word tasted like poison. What do you want? I asked. Something shifted in her expression. Relief, maybe. She'd expected a fight and found none coming. I want the Westlake estate, she said. The mansion, not this penthouse. I want the equipment fleet, the construction yards, the cabin in the Berkshires, the condo in Chicago. I want the cars, the Mercedes, the Range Rover, the Porsche, all of them. I nodded slowly, saying nothing. I want half the investment portfolio, half your stake in Brennan Construction Group. She paused, and for the first time, something almost human flickered across her face. Everything except your son. The words hung in the air between us. Austin stays with you, she continued. I know how close you two are. He's 19 now, old enough to choose. We both know he'd choose you. There was the confession wrapped in generosity. She'd never wanted to be a mother. Austin had been an obligation, something expected of a successful construction owner's wife. But he'd never been hers. Not really. So you want everything? I said slowly. Except Austin. Yes. I stood up, walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows. 35 stories below, Cleveland was waking up. People heading to jobs, to lives, to futures. Normal people with normal problems. All right, I said. The silence was absolute. All right? Her voice was careful now, suspicious. I turned to face her. I'll give it all to you. The estate, the fleet, the yards, the investments. You can have it all. I won't fight you. The shock on Caroline's face would have been almost comical if the situation weren't so devastating. She'd prepared for war, armed herself with Ohio's most ruthless divorce attorney, and I just surrendered before the first shot was fired. You're serious? She asked, standing now. You're just giving me everything? Everything except Austin, I confirmed. That's what you asked for. That's what you'll get. I watched her trying to process this, trying to find the angle, the trap. In Caroline's world, nobody gave up without a fight. Every negotiation had winners and losers, and she'd expected to have to battle for every dollar. I don't understand, she said slowly. Garrett, you've never backed down from anything in your life. Why now? Because 2 years ago, I discovered security footage from one of my job sites showing you with Natasha Pierce in my company trailer. Because I'd hired a private investigator who documented every hotel room, every lie, every moment you spent with that 28-year-old while I believed you were at charity galas and spa weekends. Because I'd spent 2 years carefully, methodically, legally restructuring every piece of equipment we owned. But I didn't say any of that. Because I'm tired, Caroline, tired of fighting, tired of pretending we're something we're not. You want out? Fine, take it all. Just let me keep my son and my peace of mind. She studied my face, searching for deception. What's the catch? No catch. I'll call Vincent Martinez today and tell him to accept whatever terms Sterling proposes. Uncontested divorce, complete asset transfer. You're going to make this easy? I'm going to make this fast, I corrected. I want this over with. 30 days, Caroline. Can Sterling make that happen? Yes, probably. But Garrett, you need to think about this. You're giving up. I know exactly what I'm giving up, I interrupted, and I'm fine with it. After she left the penthouse, probably to call Sterling with the good news, I went to check on Austin. Found him in his room working on a business plan for his entrepreneurship class. When he saw me in the doorway, he looked up from his laptop. Hey, Dad, everything okay? I sat on the edge of his bed. Your mom and I are getting divorced. He didn't look surprised, didn't even look particularly upset, just nodded slowly, processing the information. When? Soon. She wants it finalized quickly. And I'm staying with you? Yes. Is that okay? Austin actually smiled. Yeah, Dad, that's definitely okay. Mom and I, we've never really clicked, you know. She tried, I guess, but it always felt forced. Smart kid. Perceptive. He'd seen what I'd been too busy to notice until it was too late. My gold digger wife had outsmarted herself. She never realized Austin saw right through her. You'll still see her, I said. This doesn't mean she disappears. I know. He paused. Are you okay? Like really okay? I will be, I promised. After leaving his room, I went to my study and opened my laptop, pulled up the encrypted files I'd been maintaining for 2 years. Documents, photographs, financial records, everything Donovan Brooks, my private investigator, had compiled. Then I opened my email and typed a message to Vincent Martinez. Subject: accept all terms. Vincent, my wife wants everything in the divorce except custody of Austin. Give her everything she asks for. Don't negotiate, don't fight. Whatever asset transfer she proposes, accept it. I want this done in 30 days. Make it happen. I reread it twice, then hit send. My phone rang 30 seconds later. Garrett, what the hell? Vincent's voice was sharp with confusion. I just got your email. Have you lost your mind? Stone sober and completely certain. You can't just give her everything. The prenup protects significant assets, but even without it, you have rights. We can negotiate. Caroline is asking for 70% of your net worth. I know what she's asking for, Vincent. Give it to her anyway. Garrett, listen to me. I've been your attorney for 15 years. This is insane. This is exactly what I want. Drop the papers. Make it happen fast. There was a long pause. You're making a catastrophic mistake. Maybe, I said, but it's my mistake to make. After I hung up, I sat in the gathering darkness, thinking about what Caroline didn't know, what nobody knew except my accountant and me. She thought she was getting $45 million. She had no idea what she was really inheriting. The intervention happened at Clayton's house in Akron 3 days after Caroline filed the divorce papers. I should have anticipated it when my brother called asking me to stop by for dinner. Should have known that my mother flying in from Cincinnati, Lillian driving down from Toledo, and Clayton clearing his schedule all pointed to something more than a casual family gathering. I walked into Clayton's living room to find them all waiting. Mom on the leather sofa, her hands folded in that particular way that meant she was barely holding herself together. Lillian perched on the armrest, looking ready to mediate before the fight even started. Clayton standing by the fireplace with his arms crossed, wearing what I called his courtroom face, and Vincent Martinez sitting in Clayton's reading chair looking guilty as sin. Really, Vincent? I said. You're violating attorney-client privilege now? I didn't tell them anything privileged, Vincent said defensively. Just that you're proceeding with an uncontested divorce and giving Caroline basically everything she's demanding, which is going to be public record anyway. Garrett, sweetheart, Mom stood, crossed the room, pulled me into a hug that lasted several heartbeats too long. When she stepped back, her eyes were wet. Please tell us what's happening. It's a divorce, Mom. They happen. Not like this, Clayton said. Not where you hand over $45 million without a fight. Vincent says you're giving Caroline the Westlake estate, all the equipment fleet, half your portfolio. That's insane. I moved to the window, looked out at Clayton's backyard where his kids were playing basketball. 12 and 14 years old, laughing and competing, completely innocent. The way Austin used to be before he learned that families were complicated, that parents could be strangers living under the same roof. So this is what we're doing? I asked without turning around. An intervention? This is us trying to understand, Lillian said gently. Because the brother I know doesn't roll over and surrender. You fight for everything, Garrett. You built a construction empire from nothing. You don't just give up. I turned to face them. All these people who loved me, who thought they were protecting me, who couldn't see the larger picture because I hadn't let them. These family members who respected my blue-collar success didn't understand I was about to outsmart the woman who betrayed our family loyalty. Sit down, I said. All of you. They did, exchanging glances. 2 years ago, I discovered security footage from one of my job sites. Caroline was having an affair. The room went absolutely silent. Mom's hand went to her mouth. Lillian's face went pale. Clayton's jaw clenched so hard I could see the muscle working. With who? Clayton asked, his voice dangerously quiet. Natasha Pierce, the marketing consultant we hired for the downtown project renovation. Jesus Christ, Lillian breathed. I didn't confront her, didn't let on that I knew. I took screenshots, hired Donovan Brooks, Vincent knows him, best private investigator in the Midwest, and started documenting everything. For 2 years? Mom whispered. You knew for 2 years? And said nothing because confronting her would have meant a court battle. Even with evidence of infidelity, she'd have gotten tens of millions. The prenup protects some assets, but not all. She'd have walked away wealthy enough to never face consequences. I walked to Clayton's bar cart, poured myself 2 fingers of bourbon, even though it was only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The equipment fleet that Caroline is demanding, it's under lease agreements totaling $18 million annually. Took out the equipment leases 18 months ago for expansion opportunities. Vincent went very still. Garrett, you deliberately over-leveraged your equipment. Every lease properly documented with legitimate business purposes. The money went into investments, new contracts. Caroline knows nothing about equipment financing. She'll never think to look for the payment schedules. The investment portfolio she wants? Lillian asked quietly. Heavily weighted toward overvalued tech stocks that are about to correct. That $22 million she's claiming, it'll be worth $13, maybe $15 million within 6 months. And half of those losses will be hers. Clayton started to smile, a slow, dawning smile of understanding. What about your stake in Brennan Construction? That's the masterpiece, I said. I set down my bourbon and pulled out my phone, opened a file, and passed it to Clayton. He read for a moment, his eyebrows climbing higher with each paragraph. Then he started laughing. Actually laughing. Oh, Garrett, this is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What is it? Lillian demanded. Clayton handed her the phone. For the past 2 years, Garrett's been systematically restructuring Brennan Construction with high-risk contracts that look profitable on paper, but have penalty clauses that could bankrupt the operation. The company's valued at $28 million on paper, I explained. Caroline wants half my stake, which gives her 25% of the total company. But the real value, maybe $11 million and dropping every quarter. She's inheriting a piece of a business that will require constant cash injections just to stay afloat. Mom was shaking her head, torn between admiration and concern. You've been planning this for 2 years, living with her, sleeping next to her, knowing she was betrayed you while you built this trap. Yes. That's cold, Garrett. That's justice, Mom. She wanted everything. She's going to get exactly that. Every over-leveraged piece of equipment, every overvalued stock, every failing contract penalty. And she'll spend the next decade realizing that what she took from me was worthless. Vincent was pacing now, running his hands through his hair. The total actual value she's getting, after debts, after the market correction, after the business losses, what, maybe $20 million? Closer to $15 after taxes and fees. And that's only if she liquidates immediately. If she tries to hold on to the equipment fleet, the lease payments and maintenance costs will burn through $20 million a year. She doesn't have income to support that. She's never worked. She'll have to sell everything, Lillian said softly. Watch it all slip away. Exactly. Clayton refilled my bourbon, then poured one for himself. What happens when she realizes what you've done? She has 3 options. Liquidate everything and walk away with maybe $12 million after fire sale prices. Try to sue me for fraud, which she'll lose because everything I did was legal and documented. Or try to maintain the lifestyle, which will bankrupt her within 3 years. And the evidence of the affair? Mom asked. The 2 years of documentation are insurance. If she tries to make things ugly, if she comes after me legally, or tries to damage my reputation, I have proof of everything. The affair, the financial impropriety. Donovan found she'd been siphoning money from our joint accounts. $75,000 over 2 years into a private account I never knew existed. She was building a nest egg, Vincent said, planning her exit even before she asked for the divorce, while spending your money on her girlfriend and planning their future together. The room was quiet for a moment. Outside, Clayton's kids were still playing, their laughter drifting through the windows, innocent and pure, untouched by the complexity of adult revenge. I still think this is too cold, Mom said finally. Too calculated. 2 years is a long time to carry that kind of anger, Garrett. I'm not angry anymore, Mom. I was at first, but that faded into something colder. This isn't about emotion. It's about making sure betrayal doesn't pay. My cheating wife thought she could outsmart a blue-collar guy, take advantage of family loyalty, and walk away rich. Lillian stood, walked over, sat next to me. Promise me something. When this is over, when Caroline realizes what happened, promise me you'll let it go. Don't become someone defined by what she did to you. I promise this ends with the divorce. After that, I focus on Austin and rebuilding. Clayton raised his glass. To the most calculated revenge I've ever witnessed. To justice, I corrected. We drank. And in that moment, surrounded by family who finally understood, I felt the weight I'd been carrying start to lift. The dominoes were lined up. All I had to do was wait for them to fall. I found Austin in the garage 2 nights before the divorce hearing, standing in front of my vintage Porsche 911, the one Caroline had demanded in the settlement. He had his phone out, taking photos of the VIN number, the interior, the engine compartment. "What are you doing, buddy?" I asked from the doorway. He jumped slightly, then relaxed when he saw it was me. "Just documenting stuff for memories, I guess, since Mom's taking all the cars." I walked over, stood next to him. The Porsche was a 1973 model I'd restored myself over 2 years. Caroline had never cared about it until she started itemizing assets for the divorce. "You know she's cheating on you, right?" Austin said it casually, still looking at the car. I went very still. "What?" "Mom, she's been having an affair. I've known for like a year." My 19-year-old son turned to face me, and I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Not innocence lost, but a cold clarity that reminded me of myself. "How did you know?" I asked quietly. "I heard her on the phone one night late. She thought everyone was asleep. She was in her office talking to someone named Natasha, saying things that, well, things mothers shouldn't say to people who aren't their husbands." He shrugged. After that, I started paying attention. The late nights, the business trips to Chicago, the way she'd smile at her phone when she thought no one was watching. "Austin, I'm sorry you had to—" "Don't be," he cut me off. "I'm not a kid, Dad. I'm 19. I understand that people lie, that marriages fall apart, that Mom's not who she pretended to be." He paused. "What I don't understand is why you're giving her everything without a fight." I studied my son's face, saw my father's features, my own determination, and something uniquely his, a sharp intelligence that missed nothing. "What if I told you I have a plan?" I said carefully. A slow smile spread across Austin's face. "I'd say that makes a lot more sense than you suddenly becoming a pushover. What kind of plan?" I made a decision then. Austin deserved the truth. He'd been living through this too, watching his mother's betrayal, processing it alone. The equipment fleet Mom's taking. It has lease payments totaling $18 million annually. The investment portfolio she wants, it's going to crash within 6 months. My stake in Brennan Construction, the company's worth half what the paperwork says. Austin's eyes widened. You buried the assets in debt? Legally, properly, every lease documented. So she thinks she's getting $45 million, but she's really getting maybe $15 million after debts and market corrections. And if she tries to keep the equipment fleet, the carrying costs will bankrupt her in 3 years. Austin started laughing. Actually laughing. Dad, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. She gets exactly what she asked for, and it destroys her. You're okay with this? I asked. She's still your mother. His laughter stopped. She stopped being my mother a long time ago, Dad. She's been absent for years. Physically here, but mentally checked out. I used to think it was my fault, that I wasn't interesting enough or smart enough for her to care about. Then I realized she just didn't have it in her to be a real parent. The matter-of-fact way he said it broke something in my chest. That's not on you, Austin. That's on her. I know that now. He looked back at the Porsche. When does she find out about the lease payments and everything? Probably within a week after the hearing. Her lawyer will do due diligence on the asset transfers. Can I be there when she realizes? No, I said firmly. You're going to stay out of this. Let the adults handle the fallout. Fine. But Dad? He turned to face me again. Whatever happens, whatever she says or does when she figures it out, I want you to know I'm proud of you. Not for the revenge part, but for not just rolling over and letting her win. She doesn't deserve to win. I pulled him into a hug, this young man who was too wise for his years. Thanks, buddy. That means everything. The Cuyahoga County Courthouse was built in the 1980s, all concrete and glass, trying to look modern and failing. I'd been here before for various business disputes, but walking up those steps on the morning of my divorce hearing felt different, heavier, more final. Vincent Martinez met me at the entrance, briefcase in hand, his expression grim. Ready? As I'll ever be. We went through security and took the elevator to the 4th floor. Family court, room 428. The hallway was filled with other people's broken marriages, couples avoiding eye contact, lawyers conferring in hushed tones. Caroline was already there with Russell Sterling. She wore a navy suit that probably cost $3,000. Her platinum hair styled perfectly, minimal jewelry. She'd dressed for victory. For the moment she could tell her friends she'd walked away from her marriage with everything she wanted. When she saw me, something flickered across her face. Surprised that I'd actually shown up, maybe concerned that I might change my mind at the last second. Garrett, she said, her voice carefully neutral. Caroline. Sterling stepped forward, extending his hand. Mr. Brennan, I'm hoping this will be straightforward. I shook his hand. That's the plan. We entered the courtroom. Judge Patricia Rodriguez presided over family court in Cuyahoga County. I'd researched her. 58 years old, appointed 12 years ago, reputation for fairness and zero tolerance for games. She entered through a door behind the bench, and we all stood. Please be seated, Judge Rodriguez said, settling into her chair and opening a file. We're here for Brennan versus Brennan. I've reviewed the preliminary filings. This is listed as uncontested. Yes, Your Honor, Sterling said, standing. My client and Mr. Brennan have reached an agreement regarding asset division and custody. We're here to formalize the terms. Judge Rodriguez looked at me. Mr. Brennan, you understand you have the right to contest these proceedings, that you can challenge the proposed division if you believe it's unfair? I understand, Your Honor. And you're choosing not to contest? I am. She studied me for a moment. I could tell she'd seen this before. Men who gave up rather than fight. I wondered what she saw in my face. Very well. Mr. Sterling, please present the terms. What followed was a recitation of everything I was giving away. Sterling stood and read from his documents in practiced cadence. The Westlake estate, valued at $8.5 million. The construction equipment fleet, valued at $35 million. The Berkshire cabin, $2.1 million. The Chicago condominium, $1.8 million. Caroline sat perfectly still, her hands folded, her expression serene. She'd won. Everyone in the room knew it. The vehicle collection, including a 2023 Mercedes S-Class, a 2024 Range Rover, a 2023 Porsche Cayenne, and a vintage 1973 Porsche 911, combined value approximately $400,000. I watched Sterling building Caroline's victory, asset by asset. Half of the investment portfolio, currently valued at $22 million, for a total of $11 million to Mrs. Brennan, and 25% of Brennan Construction Group, representing half of Mr. Brennan's stake, valued at $14 million. Judge Rodriguez made notes. That's a substantial settlement. Mr. Brennan, you understand what you're agreeing to? The total value exceeds $70 million. I understand, Your Honor. And you're comfortable with this arrangement? I am. Sterling cleared his throat. If I may, Your Honor, there is one small matter. My office completed our due diligence on the equipment transfers late yesterday, and we discovered that several pieces carry lease obligations that were not initially disclosed in the preliminary filings. I saw Vincent tense slightly beside me. How much in lease obligations? Judge Rodriguez asked. Approximately $18 million annually, Your Honor. The judge looked at Vincent. Mr. Martinez, were these lease obligations properly disclosed? Yes, Your Honor. Every lease, every payment schedule, every obligation was included in the documentation provided to Mr. Sterling's office 3 weeks ago. If his due diligence team only discovered them yesterday, that's not a disclosure issue. That's a review issue. Sterling's face had gone from confident to concerned. Your Honor, while technically disclosed, the manner of disclosure was legal and proper, Vincent interrupted smoothly. Mrs. Brennan asked for the equipment fleet. Mr. Brennan is giving her the equipment fleet. The fact that the fleet has lease obligations doesn't change that he's giving her what she requested. Judge Rodriguez looked at Sterling. Is that accurate? Did your client ask for the equipment fleet specifically? Yes, Your Honor, but then Mr. Martinez is correct. The equipment was disclosed with all obligations. If Mrs. Brennan wants the fleet, she gets it as it is. I watched Caroline's face, watched the confusion creeping in, the smile starting to fade, watched Sterling lean over and whisper something to her that made her go pale. The net equity after lease obligations, Sterling said slowly, is approximately $17 million, not $35 million as initially calculated. Your Honor, Vincent said, my client is still willing to proceed with the asset transfer as requested. Mrs. Brennan asked for everything. Mr. Brennan is giving it all to her. Judge Rodriguez signed the documents. Congratulations, you're divorced. I stood, walked out of that courtroom and didn't look back. Behind me I heard Sterling's voice, urgent now. Caroline, we need to talk about those investment portfolio valuations and the construction company contracts immediately. The dominoes were falling. The first crack in Caroline's victory came exactly 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized. I was in my office reviewing plans for a new mixed-use development in downtown Cleveland when Vincent Martinez forwarded me an email with a single word in the subject line, beginning. The email was from Russell Sterling, and even through the professional language I could feel the barely controlled panic. The equipment fleet carries $18 million in annual lease obligations. The investment portfolio has declined 35% since transfer. The Brennan Construction Group contracts contain penalty clauses totaling $8 million in potential exposure. I poured myself a scotch even though it was only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Not to celebrate, not yet, but to mark the moment when Caroline's world started transforming into something she hadn't anticipated. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, Austin and I stood on the roof deck of a new high-rise project in downtown Cleveland. The sun was setting, painting the Lake Erie sky in colors that reminded me of hope. This is going to be beautiful when it's finished, Austin said, looking at the architectural renderings on my tablet. 28 stories, mixed use, residential and commercial, should transform this whole neighborhood. He handed back the tablet. Mom sold the equipment fleet last month. Did you know? I'd heard through mutual contacts that Caroline had liquidated everything. The fleet, the Westlake house, the Berkshire cabin, the Chicago condo, sold it all at a loss to pay off the lease obligations and walk away with whatever cash remained. How much did she end up with? Austin asked. Probably $12 million after everything, maybe 15 if she was smart about the sales. A fraction of what she thought she was getting. We stood in silence for a moment, watching the city lights begin to twinkle on below us. Do you feel like you won? Austin asked quietly. I thought about that. About Caroline struggling financially, about my business reputation intact, about standing here with my son, building something new. I feel like I survived, I said. Winning and surviving aren't always the same thing. Austin smiled. And in that moment, surrounded by the city I'd helped build, standing with the son I'd protected, I finally felt something I hadn't felt in 2 years. Peace. Not happiness exactly, not triumph, just the quiet certainty that I'd done what I needed to do, survived what I needed to survive, and protected what mattered most. We stood there, father and son, and I realized this was what winning actually looked like. Not revenge completed, not enemies vanquished. Just standing in the aftermath, still whole, ready to build something better. Sometimes the most powerful victory isn't crushing your enemy. It's outsmarting them so completely that they destroy themselves while you walk away with everything that truly matters.